Hello, good evening. Hi, it's Gina Tabrizy, Ask Gina, Harmony Heals Detox and Rehab, Facebook Live, 6 p.m., maybe a couple of minutes late. People are texting me. I don't see her. I was having technical difficulties. We moved location because, I have so many locations. It's like about 10 feet from where I'm sitting right now. So I wanted to try sitting somewhere up in a chair to see if it was a little bit more comfy. So there you go. This was interesting to decide what topic to talk about this evening. I think this is something everybody wants to talk about, relationships. I'm going to take a few minutes here and kind of warm up to it so people can start checking in and seeing what's happening. Say hey to all you that are logged in already and making comments. Relationships, the do's and the don'ts. I wish we had a textbook before we ever got into any relationships about the do's and the don'ts. You can read. A lot of people can read, but we don't tend to do that. We tend to just fall into relationships and find relationships that aren't always the best for us. Do's and don'ts. If I had to give a real simple don't, I would say don't get in a relationship with the worst parts of yourself. Don't get in a relationship with the worst parts of your parents. I'm going to give you a second to think about that. The worst parts of yourself. Sometimes we're attracted to ourselves. Sometimes we're attracted to things about ourselves that we think are spectacular, like a very strong ego or having a lot of confidence or being very extroverted or outgoing. And sometimes you find yourself attracted in a relationship with someone who has those qualities, and after a while, you feel a little tired. You feel a little exhausted. You can't keep up with them. I can't relate to that at all. If you are in relationship with people that have qualities of yours that maybe you struggle with, like stubbornness, being egocentric or selfish and self-centered, which is a quality, unfortunately, a lot of us have. So, when you're attracted to those qualities in a person, it's because something in you wants to heal yourself in that relationship. One of the don'ts that we don't, but we always do, is that we put our expectations on someone and we believe that that person is there to make us 120% happy, I'm going to turn this, happy, fulfilled, and meets all of your needs and the be all and end all of your life. That's rough to put on somebody, that kind of expectation to put on another human being. The problem is that we expect in relationship that that person is going to complete us, make us whole and give us everything that we want and need. And truth be told, that in reality doesn't really happen. And then we get super disappointed. If you grew up at home in a relationship where you saw your parents arguing and a lot of conflict, or one parent had more power over the other parent, you grew up saying, I don't want to be like her. I don't want to be submissive and subservient. Or I don't want to be like him, loud and in charge and control, always dominating. You kind of pick sides and look at your parents and decides which parts of them you like or don't like. But truth be told, I just shared this with one of my clients today, is that we mimic our parents' behavior. In our growing up years, how we learn and how we develop is that we mimic. And so watching them, we start to repeat those same patterns in our relationships. It's really sad that oftentimes we show up in relationships and we're not whole. We're showing up immature, emotionally immature and broken. One of my pet peeves, a definite don't in relationship, is to act like a child. Do you ever have an argument with your partner, your spouse, your best friend, your girlfriend, your lover, whomever you're in relationship with, and they pout? They pout. You're trying to talk to them about your feelings or something that you're upset about, or saying, I really didn't like it when you called me out at dinner in front of my best friend about something that happened at home, and they pout. It makes you really uncomfortable, doesn't it? It makes me really uncomfortable. I'm a pouter. I used to pout all the time. Sometimes I still pout. And pouting is a part of you that's immature, that hasn't matured emotionally, that's trying to express something that you never learned how to express in your growing up, in your childhood. When you were a little kid, if nobody paid attention to you, maybe you pouted. And maybe that was the only time anybody noticed that something was wrong with you. So it became a way for you to cope. It became a way for you to communicate. A definite do. Oh, you're guilty of that? Adriana? Me too. Me too, girl. So in relationships, sometimes besides the pouting, that's not a very flattering one, is it? I know it doesn't make us feel real good about ourselves. But if you're growing up in a childhood where you weren't seen and you weren't heard, you don't have tools to communicate and to express yourself to your partner. I'm having a relationship right now with you, with the audience, and I'm communicating to you. I'm giving you feedback and my opinion, and it's one-sided until you communicate back with me and you make a comment or you make a statement. And I can validate that comment like, Ian, may God continue on your positive journey. Amen. Same for you. And Julie, my ex, perfected that. Oh yeah, right? Pouting. That stance, that position that you take with people. Well, what happens is if you didn't learn how to communicate in different ways, and me engaging with you guys, I can hear what you're saying. I can validate it. I can say, you know what, you're on point. Maybe if I'm a little off and you disagree with me, I can go, yeah, I guess I should think of it that way. What happens in relationship is we become territorial. We want the right to be right. We want to be acknowledged and validated that we are the one who's right. And when we don't get that from our partner, we struggle, right? We argue, we push back against them. It's unfortunate, but it's true. Our feelings start to get hurt when we feel like our partner is not hearing us, listening to us, or validating our feelings. These are really, really common things that happen in relationship. People are texting away. Joanne, what if both are waiting for the other to show respect? A definite don't in a relationship is don't lose the respect. One of the ways that we get into discussion with our partners and arguing, look, arguing is natural. It's a normal part of a relationship and discord. If you've been in a long-term relationship, I mean long-term, I mean like 25 plus years, like I have with my husband, we're pushing on 30, like from the time we dated, got engaged, and then been married together, married, living with children, 2 children. I'm saying that because, you know, I got some guys out there making some comments. I'm married. So in that marriage, discussion happens all the time. And arguing happens all the time. It's how you do it. It's okay to express your anger to someone. That is a do. If I'm angry, I have the right to express that. I don't have the right to demean, diminish, and belittle my partner. That looks like, you know what, I think that's really stupid. And, you know, when you say that, you look like an idiot. I don't like your face. When you're talking to me right now, I don't like that expression on your face. The person feels invalidated and they feel like you're coming at them. You're hitting them with, you know, guns blazing instead of trying to communicate with them. The goal of any discussion or any argument is to communicate. There is something that you need to resolve in the relationship. Dawn, this is my first time watching. You're amazing. Oh my God, so are you. I'm single now after 26 years. Well, bless you. That might have been the right choice or the right decision for you. Sometimes we stay in relationships too long. We stay in unhealthy, unfulfilling relationships too long because we don't know how to choose differently for ourselves. It's the same thing I was saying earlier, is don't choose a relationship that looks like an unhealthy relationship maybe your parents had. Maybe a previous relationship that you had. Maybe you came from abusive relationships and you keep repeating that pattern even though it's not what you want. Don't stay. Don't stay in that. You have the right to express yourself, to communicate, to build a bridge with your partner. But what we're talking about, what Joanna asked about, how do you say it right? How do you express it right? If you lose that respect for someone, then you're losing the relationship. You're undermining the relationship and breaking it down, like breaking the foundation of a house. How do you say it right? There's language that you can use to talk to people when you're hurt. It's funny because when someone argues with you and they're angry at you, if you don't bring that anger back and throw back that anger at them, oftentimes they will calm down. It's a very, very hard thing to do because maybe they've hurt you and you're upset and angry now and your voice wants to be heard. The best way to do it is to say, what you just did right now, I'm so angry about it. It makes me feel very small or belittled or like you don't respect me. This is a comment. Oh, those are my doggies. They think I'm disrespecting them right now because it's dinner time and I'm not out there feeding them. So they're getting mad. They're getting angsty. They're expressing. See, look, the dogs can do it. We can do it, right? Hey, what do I know? My first time too. You're great. Thank you guys for tuning in. So hopefully my friend is here too and she's watching live. Hey, Shay. So she's taking care of my doggy, I hope. So anyways, yeah, that's a form of communication, a bark, right? Sometimes when you don't get heard, you bark too. You start getting louder and you bark. You know what's funny is the reason we fight is loss of control. We feel like we're losing control over something. Sometimes it's over ourselves. Sometimes it's over our emotions. And when we feel like we're losing control, that makes us feel weak or helpless, okay? And when you feel weak or helpless, your instinct is either to retreat and submit or to attack. These are like just basic instincts that we have as human beings. The greater thing, the kinder thing, the more loving thing to do is to speak and to communicate with love, even when you're angry. Even when you're hurting, it is so hard to do that. But if you speak with love and kindness to your partner, they're going to be more receptive to you. My dog's very upset and he's going outside now. So I think there's a predator in my backyard that he's going after. When you are in discussion with a partner, one of the do's is to remain calm. That's so hard. Listen, I'm Latin. I'm Latina. I'm Cuban. My parents spoke and discussed and talked about everything in very loud tones, even when they were happy and they were excited or they're having a normal discussion. Everything was really loud, so I thought everything has to be really loud. So if I get angry, it goes up. So I have to work on, still to this day, and think before I speak and say, when I'm angry, the words that I choose can be very, very hurtful. And sometimes we choose the worst words, the most hurtful words to the people we love the most. How weird is that? Why do we do that? I know why we do it. We do it because that's where we feel safe. Oftentimes, you feel safe. If you've been in a very long-term relationship, or it's your parents, or it's your brother, or it's your sister, you feel safe. You think, they're not going to leave me. We're family. We're in for life. We're tied by blood. They're not going to leave me, so I can say whatever I want to them. That's a relationship don't. There's certain words you say to people that you can't take back. Stupid, idiot, a-hole, effing mother, you know what I'm talking about. A-hole, etc., etc. You can think of other ones, more colorful language than that. I'm going to try to keep it clean, but when someone, bitch, one of my favorites. One of my favorites. This has become a word that we use like, hey, yo, you're my bitch. That's all right. Love you. Okay, I get it. That's different. But when you're arguing with someone and use that language, what you're saying to them is, I don't see you as a person. You're a very small little thing that I'm stepping on right now. This is a don't. It is never okay to use that language with somebody that you love. If you are getting that angry and you're getting that heated, that is your fault. No matter what your partner does or says, is if you lose control of your anger, you are responsible, not them. This is the hardest thing for people to get. Well, she made me. If she wouldn't have, I wouldn't have said, because she did that. I saw a guy on TV yesterday. I think it was the Maury Povich show. Shout out to Maury. It was funny to me. This guy's had a 10-year resentment over his girlfriend that they met when they were 14 because he put a video camera in her room or in her living room, and she was talking to his best friend. And when the best friend said, no, I think I should go home, she goes, oh, no, don't leave yet. I don't want you to leave. That's all that happened. They didn't sleep together. They didn't hook up. They didn't do anything. But in his mind, she violated the trust of their relationship because she told him not to leave. She said, he's your friend. He was my friend. We were having a good conversation. I didn't want him to leave. For the next 10 years, this guy has tortured her over this one incident. He checks her phone. He checks her computer. He calls her all kinds of names, the whore, the C1, which I really hate and can't even say, because he said, you cheated on me. Now, that's a whole other discussion I can have with you guys another time. Emotional cheating, I understand. You were kids. You were 14 years old. They have two babies together. 10 years later, he's still beating her up for something that maybe was innocent. Maybe, yes, she should have said, oh, okay, yeah, you should go home now. Because maybe she gave the guy an impression that she was interested in him instead of just for talking. Okay. 10 years he's beating her up, calling her whore, telling her she's cheating, checking on her. And by the way, he decided to go cheat. Because in his mind, if she wanted to cheat, he should just go ahead and do it to even the score. Is anybody relating to this? This is a don't in relationship. This is fighting an unfair fight. I decided that you did something that you didn't even do, and now I'm going to torture you about it, but I'm going to go do it. And I'm going to keep telling you that I'm going to do it, and I'm going to blame you because you did that, now I did this. The guy said it like 4 times. Well, she put the thought in my head. So then he goes and cheats. How does that justify that behavior? Because this guy believes that gave him the right, and he decided. Now, I can guarantee you he probably grew up in a home where he watched that behavior, where he watched one of his parents cheating on the other parent and the other parent putting up with it. It didn't matter that this woman never did it. She took a lie detector test, finally proved to him that she had never done any of the things that he accused her of. She sobbed and wept, and then he was still skeptical. Well, okay, I guess I have to accept it. He wasn't even that happy or that pleased. You know why? He wants to have conflict and chaos in his relationship. Are you in a relationship where the thing that's bonding you together is conflict and chaos? Really think about it. Maybe you're not in one right now, but you've been in one. I see signs coming, so I'm going to try to go and see. Go out and come again. I try to keep my worries. Sorry, guys, I can't read these, how they're coming in on the screen. Okay, anyways, if you have more, just text them to me. For some reason, the streams got stuck and I wasn't able to see and respond to you guys, which I love to do. But what I'm saying is that he's choosing a relationship where conflict is the key. That's how they stay bonded to each other. These are things that you learn. These are patterns that you learn. This is the way that you grew up. Even if you saw your parents having a fairly healthy relationship or a happy relationship, sometimes you witness them in conflict, or they didn't spend much time together, or they didn't seem too interested in each other's lives. They were kind enough, they were nice enough, but they were very, very separate. That lends us to believe that being separate in relationship is a goal, right? Okay, now let's see if I see that. Because of you, I know how to have a healthy relationship. Who is that? It's Michelle. Thanks, Mish. So I'm using a new phone tonight, so I'm having a harder time reading the streams. So if I miss you, I apologize, and I'll get back and try to answer you. We're talking about do's and don'ts. I love that you said that, Michelle, that you know how to have a healthy relationship today. So we have a long history together, and I hope that I was able to role model that for you and teach that for you. But the main thing is to honor yourself. One of the do's in relationships is don't make yourself small to make the other person happy. Don't make yourself small to make the other person happy. Don't dismiss yourself. Don't so easily give in. Don't so easily lose your standing in the relationship. So, well, it's not that big a deal, or it doesn't matter. I have clients tell me this all the time. Well, you know, they don't know any better. Well, you know, he's just not capable. She's just not capable. She just doesn't understand the way that I understand. Hi, Gina. from Cleveland, Ohio. Hi, Cleveland, Ohio. Next time I got to change this on this phone. Lynn Adams. Hi, Lynn. Thanks for tuning in. So in relationships, don't make yourself small. Don't settle. Don't settle. Don't settle. We are always settling. We are always settling. We maybe didn't learn. We maybe didn't grow up in that perfect home where both parents nurtured us and told us we were the end-all be-all of the universe and we should have everything that we want. And on a daily basis, we were stroked and nurtured and given positive messages. A lot of us didn't get that. And when we didn't get that, we grew up thinking, well, I don't deserve better than what I'm getting. So we choose relationships where we're accepting crumbs. There's a whole plate out there. There's a whole menu of food, and we're taking the little crumbs because we think that's all we deserve. It's a don't in a relationship. Don't take the crumbs. First of all, you got to be aware. Do notice what's happening in your relationship. My number is being put up there, 1-800-426-5943. If anybody needs that contact info for the detox and rehab, keep sending in your questions. If you have a question about relationship, what's another do? Do speak your truth. Do say what you need. Do say how you feel, and do say what you want. But remember, don't put the expectation on the other person to meet all of your needs. There's no one person in this universe that can meet all of your needs, that can be everything for you. My father was quite a character. And a lot of people think of him just, you can't help but smile when you think about my dad. He was super funny. He was very charismatic. And one of the things he always used to say, I heard him say this through my whole life. Kid, I can't be me. I cannot be the other. What? He was Cuban. He had an accent. That's how he used to talk to us like this all the time. Everybody loved it because he was a funny guy. But I can be me. I cannot be the other. He's saying I've got to be me, you know, kind of like the Frank Sinatra song. And he has to be me. He can't be another person. Sometimes you're molding yourself to the other person because they keep expecting from you. I want you to be like this. I want you to dress like this. I was in a relationship. This is going to be a good one to tell. I haven't told this story in a while. Yes, curious about online dating. Oh, I would love to talk to you about online dating, girl. I'm going to say this relationship story. I'm going to try to hit that. I was in a relationship, okay, in my first marriage where I literally molded myself to whatever that person asked of me. It was insane. I was so afraid of him leaving me. I was so insecure. I was so lonely. I took the first crumb that came to me, and I accepted it with my whole heart. And then I tried to give everything that I had. But whatever he said was wrong with me, I believed it. And I tried to change it or fix it. My hair color, I used to be a blonde. The way that I was dressed, my weight, my shoes, what I cooked, how I spoke, my hand gestures. So I got to tell you, it ruined me. It took me down to a place where I was like the tiniest little person. I lost any sense of esteem that I had whatsoever. You know, I felt like I shouldn't even be on the planet. I shouldn't even breathe and take up space. A relationship can do that to you. When a person is belittling you on a daily basis, either making fun of you through sarcasm, teasing you, or relentlessly trying to reinvent you. I really don't like your hair like that. I really wish you'd wear different makeup. You need to lose 5 pounds. You need to gain 20 pounds. Every woman would die to hear that, by the way. You need to gain 20 pounds. We would love to hear that. So these comments and these criticisms is that person is trying to find some perfect, ideal person that doesn't exist. But they think if I just get that right person exactly the way that I need them, oh, then I'll be fine. Then I'll be in the perfect relationship and then I'll be fine. This is a relationship don't. Don't choose a relationship to fix yourself. You are responsible to fix yourself. We come in carrying our little baggage into our relationship and drop it on our partner's lap and think they're going to help us clean it up. We bring in all our insecurities. We bring in all our fears. We bring in sometimes addiction. We bring in codependency, sometimes depression, anxiety, other things, low self-esteem. which is a weird concept. I've always thought about that. Really, esteem is something you have. It shouldn't be low or high, but we talk about this just as a concept to understand my self-esteem is low. No, how I feel about myself makes me feel like I'm less than is a more accurate statement than my self-esteem is low. But anyways, so you have low self-esteem. So you're not going to walk into a relationship and pick Mrs. Wonderful, perfect woman, mother of your children. You're going to pick a woman that's equal to your low self-esteem. These are things that we bring in relationship that we have to fix before we match ourselves up with somebody. Otherwise, we're going to be two hurt, wounded little children pretending to be adults trying to have a relationship. Does that make sense? Should I ask and tell my baby mama, oh girl, how do I get that back? That was a good question. Sorry for my hand in your face. Should I ask and tell my baby mama that I would be there till the end if she wants to, only if she wants me to? I'll tell you what you can say. You say to that baby, I will be there till the end no matter what. No matter what happens with that mama and what that mama wants, your obligation is to that baby first. I don't know what happened in your relationship. If you're still in love with this person, you want to work it out with this person, then you do that. You ask for help, you ask for support, you go to counseling if you need to. But sometimes we have chosen the wrong person for ourselves and we have a baby together. Guess what? We can't change that. We can't unring that bell, but that baby has every right for us to show up 100% as adult parents, communicating with love and kindness and compassion and growing up and maturing. Don't have a baby to fix your problems. Here's some don'ts. Don't have a baby to trap someone. I know a lot of people have done it. I don't even know what to tell you, but that child doesn't deserve that. They didn't earn that. They didn't earn to come into this world as a reason for you to stay connected to someone who maybe you're not meant to be with. And now that child is tied into your unhealthy relationship. The real question is, if you truly love somebody, how many chances should you give a person? If you want a real relationship with them, we bring, even if they put you through stuff that you should never have. Wow, this is a good one, William. I can't see the rest of your question. Okay. Everybody deserves a chance, but there's a limit. When people make mistakes and they repeat it and they repeat it and they repeat it, you have to pay attention to that. I have this kind of 3 strikes you're out rule, because otherwise my heart just stays in and I keep taking it and taking it and taking it. That is the disease of codependency. And many of us have that in relationships. Okay, here's William again. I've been through a lot of stuff in the last week. I hear you and I feel you, and there's a lot going on there, and that's probably even more in depth than what I'm going to say. But I'm telling you that when someone does things like abuse or cheating or belittling you or shaming you or ridiculing you or separating you from your family, there's certain things you don't want to tolerate long term. There's certain sacrifices that you aren't meant to make like that. Julie, sorry, William, been there. Yeah, truly. Show some love to William. We've all been there. I just was talking earlier about my ex relationship in a marriage that I had where I was verbally abused, and I took it and I took it. I didn't stay long, but I stayed long enough to do some damage. And that's not worth taking over and over again. That's not something that you tolerate over time. That's a relationship don't. There is something wrong when a person is abusive. There's something wrong with them, not you. If you listened in earlier on Facebook and the story I was telling about the young woman whose boyfriend held her hostage, kind of emotionally hostage for 10 years over a mistake she made that wasn't even that big of a mistake, she was crying and sobbing. That was abusive. For 10 years, she kept putting up with this abuse and she couldn't move forward because she loved him. Here's another thing. Do be clear with yourself about love, what it is and what it isn't. Sometimes we love someone because they are familiar. They take us to a place that feels familiar. It feels like the way our parents loved us. It feels like the way our ex loved us. But maybe it's not love. Sometimes it's obsession. Sometimes it's impulsive. Sometimes it's loneliness. Sometimes we're grabbing relationship out of loneliness. Get out, Dawn. Been there. It was horrible. Stephanie, whatever feedback you're giving to her, this is the first time I've done the live this way on the wide angle. And so I'm not able to read all the texts normally as when I have it this way. So please know I'll go back and read those. Going through similar thing. If you want, hit me up again and repeat it so I can see what you're saying. I see Jamie here. I hate when I explain to my boyfriend that certain things he does hurts me and he turns it into me trying to control him. Oh my God. You're speaking my language. I don't feel it's control, and I tell him I understand if he can't handle, but that's it. No. This is one of the hardest thing. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. That book, Gray is the last name, I think. Years ago, a psychologist wrote this book. Phenomenal. Read it. Men are from Mars. We're so different. When we argue and discuss things, we need to be heard and we need to express our emotions. Guys need to be in control. Guys need a solution. They want to fix it. 1, 2, 3 steps and fix it. Number 1, number 2, okay, good, I'm done. The attention span is not there to sit in the emotional pool that us women can swim in for hours. I can talk about my feelings and emotions for hours. It drives my husband crazy. It drives him nuts. So sometimes I can't help it because I have the need to express my feelings and have them be heard. Sometimes I can pull myself back and go, this is getting me nowhere. I'm swimming upstream. I'm doggy paddling, actually. I'm not even swimming upstream, and I'm losing my husband's attention, his care and his compassion because he's frustrated because he just wants to fix it. He's a guy. Where's the hammer? Where's the nail? I want to fix it. My ex played the I'm controlling card. Oh my God. Guys and girls, because there's guys listening too. We all control in different ways. Sometimes we control and manipulate with our emotions. So we have to take responsibility for that. But you're controlling me is just because they're afraid of what you're saying. They're hearing you say, I'm not good enough. I'm not meeting your needs. I'm not meeting your expectations. When someone feels like they're not getting it right, it makes them feel bad. And it's very hard for men in particular because they haven't been taught to express emotion through society, through culture, through tradition, through history. Men are not encouraged. They're finally getting there now. But this is not something that they came with. They were taught to figure it out, analyze it, and fix it. So that doesn't make it right or wrong, but they say you're controlling me because they feel out of control when you're hurt, when you're scared, when you're sad, or if they've caused pain on you. It is very difficult to own that. Very, very difficult. It's just like a cultural difference or bias. Ian, false expectations. Totally, Ian. I was talking about expectations in relationships, and men and women are so different, and now we got to get broader because we have, homosexual relationships and transgender relationships and relationships with men and women and bisexual relationships. Now we have all these different variations of cultural relationships where it's not so black and white, where men typically do this and women typically do that. We're more like a smorgasbord of things. But one of the relationship don'ts is don't put your expectations on somebody else and think that they're going to meet them. And don't have unrealistic expectations. And don't have expectations that you never express. You're absolutely the best too, Mary Wilson. Mary! Hi, Mary. Mary's here. Shay, Mary, say hi. Shay's sitting watching. So anyways, our expectations is like our Achilles heel. It's like the worst thing you can do. It's a ticking time bomb in relationship. Our expectations are ours to meet. And if you have expectation in relationship, you should set it up ahead of time. I tell people something that really kind of annoys them. Most of my clients I've told early in your relationship. I want to challenge you to not get physically intimate with somebody for the first 3 months of your relationship. People think I'm psychotic. And I'm like, look, if you just want to hook up, it's for fun and for free, and you want to date and hook up, that's your business. Hi, Shay from Mary. That's your business. What I'm talking about is when you're ready for a serious relationship and you're putting yourself out there, like one of the girls talked about online dating. I've had some friends get married through, you're welcome, William. I've had people get married through online dating. But they put their expectation real out there. They were like, I'm not going to sleep with you. I'm not going to sleep with you for months. I'm not going to sleep with you till I know who you are. Here's the funny thing. Some people get into bed with a stranger. And then they fall in love because all of those endorphins and pheromones and hormones that are raging through this wonderful experience makes them believe they're in love. And then they commit to a relationship and all of a sudden they wake up 3, 4, 6 months later and go, I am in love with a stranger. The same stranger I went to bed with. I don't know this person. You know when you get to know somebody is after 3 or 4 months. This is a relationship no. This is to know this, K-N-O-W, and do this. 3 to 4 months. 3 to 4 months is when all the wheels fall off. All the pretty, romantic, showing you their best self. It is hard to be on your best game past 3 or 4 months. If you hang in there and don't sleep with somebody, now you're going to see a personality. Oh, I didn't notice she was so controlling. Oh, I didn't notice she was so demanding. Oh, I didn't notice that she's so pretentious. Oh, I didn't notice she's kind of lazy. Now I'm talking about the women because the guys are tuning in. Mel, hello, ma'am. Gina, how are you? You're absolutely right. Thank you, Mel. Thank you, William. Been there going on since 2011. Listen, sometimes when we put those expectations on people and we are being not our best selves, it'll show up. At 3 or 4 months, you'll start to see, oh my God, she is rude. I took that girl out to dinner. She didn't even say thank you, nothing. She like turned, walked out, and asked, where's dessert? So pay attention to those cues. By month 3 to 4, you will start to notice who somebody is. If you can keep yourself from quickly jumping into intimacy and thinking that intimacy is love, then you're going to find out who you're really in relationship with. And you'll wind up having a better relationship if you take your time. It's hard to wait, but you're not children anymore. I hope not. There might be some young kids listening to me too, and that's different. You're impulsive as a teenager, and your expectations and rules are really different. But as an adult, you should care enough about yourself to think about who you're climbing in bed with. You should care enough about yourself to decide, does this person get to have this special, intimate privilege in this moment with me? I'm worth it. So that's a lot of the work that I was talking about earlier. The work in relationship is not to expect and put it on the partner that they're going to fix me and make me happy. Is I got to heal me first. I got to figure out I'm worth it. I've got to build up my esteem. I've got to put, emotional joy and happiness in my piggy bank so then I have a lot to bring to the table when I'm going to meet a partner in relationship. Do communicate your worth. Do communicate your value. Do communicate what you have to offer in a relationship. Don't be afraid to sell yourself, in a sense, to say, I'm a great person. I'm a kind person. A kind person doesn't have to put up with a mean person, right? So negotiate very early in the relationship. 2 dead batteries can't... Oh, okay. Sorry, Ian. So 2 dead batteries can't start a Bobo. Okay, now I get it. It took me a minute. That's cute. Yeah. 2 dead batteries can't start nothing. So heal yourself first. Work on yourself first. The best relationship you can ever have is the relationship with yourself. If you nail that relationship and you make it 110%, there's nothing that's going to stop you. There is nothing that's going to stop you in finding and getting the love that you want and need. Gina, curious, how many people watching are married 20 to 25 years or more? What is their secret? Well, me. I'm married 25 years this year, and I know we're towards the end of the live and I'll have to wrap up. I feel pretty healed 3 years after divorce. What's your best advice on meeting someone? Okay. The 25-year marriage thing is, I am not more important than you. You're not more important than me. We're equal partners. We are a team. I want to see your joy and your happiness and you doing what you need in your life. I need to do the things that make me happy in my life. There is always compromise. There's always independence. We think we have to be like this to be happily married. And I'm not going to remember, the poet Khalil Gibran has an expression that my husband and I read, a poem that we read at our wedding about being two separate beings. Stand near each other, but not too near each other. Be like two roots of a tree, and lean on each other, but not too far into each other. If you can find it and read it, maybe I'll have it for next time and read it to you, because I always have books with me. So is the idea of have your own identity, have your own source of joy, have your own belief. If you love to go to church and your partner doesn't and is agnostic or doesn't even believe in God, you go. Don't let that limit your joy if that's what you need to do for you, because you bringing the joy back into the relationship will also change your partner. Being out of relationship, who was it that just asked that? Is it Jamie? For 3 years, it's Julie. I feel pretty healed 3 years after relationship dating advice. I'm giving some of the dating advice about how you heal yourself, and then you're available, and set the bar high. Don't set it low. Go, well, at least he asked me out and he was nice. No. Have the expectation that this is what I want in a partner. We have this beautiful exercises therapists do all the time, these vision boards. I think it's really a Native American thing, but creating a vision board where you put on that board everything that you want for yourself. Literally a board, a poster board, a piece of paper, whatever, pin it up on your wall, behind your bed, and put a vision of the person that would be a good match for you. Not just meet your needs and give you what you want, because we get lost in that, is be a good match for you. 20 years and thought it was hard, but realized now it wasn't so bad. Oh yeah. You know what? Marriage at 20 years gets hard. It's like Kilimanjaro. Like you thought you had this going up that mountain and you trained for it. I had some friends that just came back from Kilimanjaro. It is no laughing matter. And then you hit a plateau, and then all of a sudden you go, oh my God, now I'm really in some deep doo-doo. Like this is the hard stuff. 20 years is the hard stuff. We're almost hitting 30 years, my husband and I. That's the hard stuff. It's more than half my life. So now you're building a different emotional muscle. Now your expectations change and are different. Are you willing to compromise more? Are you willing to be a better partner? Are you willing to be a better support? Or do you have to just keep getting your way? Do you have to keep being right? Because being right is never going to get you what you want. Okay? And when something's worth it and if you truly love 100%, no matter how hard something gets, you put everything you have into it. You don't give up. Now, that's separate from my earlier talk about if it's abusive and it's belittling and it's disrespectful, you don't stay in that forever. If it's a healthy, good relationship that you've built and you've put so much into and you're just having rough patches and hard times, then it's for better or for worse in sickness and in health. That's when you go to that. You guys are putting great comments. I want to answer them. And I love that you're answering each other. Donna, it works. Homeostasis. Text gone wrong. Jamie, I was married 20 years and realized it wasn't that bad. Congratulations. Thank you, Ian. So anyways, I would love for you to send in more comments. I gave you some of the do's. I gave you some of the don'ts. Stephanie, to go back to Stephanie on online dating, be very careful, but be very clear. Always make it very, very clear. I'm in here for a relationship. I really am not going to screw around. That's not my thing. There's plenty of other men or women on here that'll do that with you. That's not me. I'm a serious person with a serious intention to be with a life partner. You put that out there and you don't settle for anything less. Gotta see you next time. Okay. Adriana would love that. Married 10 years, still can get my husband to talk to me about losing his 11-year-old son in a house fire. Oh my God. Wow, Donna. Whew. He may not be able to talk to you. He needs to talk to somebody. Figure out who he can talk to. Maybe he's willing to talk to a pastor, a counselor, therapist, another family member or friend. That is a tragic, tragic event. And when your kid dies, part of you dies too, and you have to decide whether you're going to go on living or jump in the grave with that child that you lost. Anybody that we lose, but especially a child. And he has the right to heal and grow from that. And his 11-year-old child would not want him on this earth suffering and not living his life because he's gone. No one would want that for a loved one. So he needs that help. So with all of and everything that you have, you tell him you love him, you know he's suffering with this, you want him to heal from this. There is counselors, there's therapy. I always mention EMDR. EMDR as a tool for therapy that helps. It's the quickest way to work through a trauma and really let it go and integrate it and move on with your life. Find a certified EMDR therapist in your area. Thank you for making this available. You're so welcome. Donna, best of luck. Get him talking about it. That doesn't go away, but he has the right to move on. We lose people all the time. I've lost people to suicide because of alcoholism, other suicides for different reason, and age and illness and Alzheimer and sickness and cancer. And our life story, we will always lose something, and we have to just grow from that grief. We have to be able to let it go. We have to be able to acknowledge it. And remembering someone who's passed is the best way that you honor them. And grief is another way that you honor them. But moving past that grief is continuing to show up for them even while they're gone, to honor their memory, the joy and the happiness that they brought you. That's the best I could give advice to you, Donna, okay? Thank you for making this available. Are you doing live shows weekly? Well, yes. So I need to wrap it up. We seem to go longer each time, but I know we've been running the tags underneath. You can find me on Ask Gina at Harmony Heals Detox and Rehab and Harmony Heals. Our phone number is 800-426-5943. You can send me questions here on any of those websites. Send me questions at Ask Gina. I am not taking clients for personal counseling. I'm not soliciting in any way. This is a public service to help people heal, and anybody that needs our help, specifically drug and alcohol, behavioral health, trauma, treatment, yes, that 800 number will try to help you get to us, to the right place, to the right fit for you, whatever you need. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Dawn, Bethany. Can I talk to you personal information though? Thank you. Any personal information you send it on Messenger, not right on the website, not under a comment, but if you send it on Messenger through Gina Tabrizy, nobody's seeing it but me. That's up to you. And I'm not going to act as a therapist. I'm a guide. I'm giving information. Even though I'm licensed, I'm not taking anybody on as a client, but I'm certainly willing to guide you and give you some advice about how to get started and some tools, okay? Thank you, Maribel. Thank you, Dawn and Lynn. See you next week. Thursdays, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time, okay? Back where my homies are in Miami and all my family, whatever. Say hey, shout out to my Miami people. Someone's been married for 30 years now with all flaws, of course. Amen, brother. I'm right there with you. What would you do if your son is dating a 49-year-old, taking advantage of them? Oh, wow. His money, house needs to be paid off. Blah, 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 blah. Woo. Okay. How old's your son? Tell me that one. 49? I'm assuming he's not 49. Girl, you must be real angry. Lisa, I can answer this to you. This is longer. It will be a longer live. But if your son is an adult, you as a parent stepping back watching, all you can do is empower him. My parents had to watch me marry the first man that I married that was horrific. And there wasn't anything they could do. They tried talking to me, but my heart decided what it decided. So as a parent, you just have to make yourself emotionally available and say, look, I don't think this is good for you. I don't support this. This is not what I want for you, but if you keep choosing this, there's nothing I can do. If you're financially helping that situation, pull the plug. Don't support it. Okay? Bye, Lisa. I hope that helped. And Linda, Julie, thank you so much, you guys. See you next week. Facebook Live, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm out.